Hello, this is Allan, not the real Stan Lee, coming to you again from Jack's in Biloxi to discuss some of the fun events around pop culture. And today our guest is...
Hi, my name is Perky Carter. I'm a local gamer and aficionado for Jack's.
What sort of games do you like to play?
I'm fond of all sorts of games, Mr. Allen. I like especially Dungeons & Dragons type tabletops.
Role-playing games.
Role-playing games.
What sort of characters do you like to play?
I'm most fond of mages, wizards, that type of spellcasters who let me affect the world around me and especially affect the reactions I get from other people.
So, do they like to be nice people?
Not necessarily, but most of the time I do try to play a more good-based character, especially whenever alignment rules are in effect.
Okay. How often do you play role-playing games?
I play about once every week on Wednesdays, and then occasionally I'll also play on Fridays, Saturdays, on the weekends with other groups of friends. But we do generally play at least once a week.
Okay. How many other people do you play with at a time?
We currently have 6 people in our party, including the DM, who usually supplies an NPC character.
Okay. Have you ever been the dungeon master?
I do. I'm very fond of being the dungeon master. I like the way that it allows you to sort of create your own world and your own storylines, and it gives you a springboard to making stories for each of the people's characters, and occasionally for writing for your own characters.
Do you have to sometimes kill a character?
Occasionally. Most of the time it's usually kind of a requisite that you try to keep from killing players' characters. But to be fair, people don't always make the smartest choices. So, and every now and then it is time for someone to develop a new character and occasionally give away their old one. So that's usually when death is the resolution.
Okay. When you're playing the role-playing games, sometimes the other people get really antagonistic?
That can happen, especially with newer players. A lot of the times there's a specific type of thing called metagaming, and metagaming is whenever you play with outsider knowledge from outside of the game that your character would normally have. And so there's good metagaming and there's bad metagaming. And bad metagaming is, of course, using the rules that you should know in character against everyone. And then a lot of newer players occasionally will do this without thinking. But good metagaming is whenever you kind of make an active choice for your character to be friends with everyone, to be less antagonistic and more of a protagonist in the story.
How do people find games to play? If somebody new came into the area and was interested in playing a role-playing game?
Well, actually, the most interesting bit about that is that you could come here to Jack's and look at the board, which usually people leave messages on if they're looking for a gaming group. You can make new friends by socializing with other people, especially in regards to other types of games that you might play or have in common. There's always conventions, of course, which you can use.
You go to conventions?
I do. I spend a lot of time at conventions, actually.
What was the last one you went to?
The last convention that I went to was MobyCon over in Mobile, and it's considered a mid-range convention. It's very large, especially to people who are newer to conventions. It has lots of costumes and lots of different types of games and rooms where you can buy things, all sorts of panels where you can meet celebrities or talk about your similar, interests and things.
What sort of celebrities? Who was at the last convention?
The last convention that I was at, I got to meet Chewbacca, which is, a character from Star Wars. He's enormous, actually. He's a really big guy. And I also got to meet some of the more supporting characters from different shows, movies, that type of thing.
What is that the best part about a convention?
No, definitely not. It's definitely a bonus for going to conventions, but I'd have to say the best part of going to a convention is getting to meet everyone in your con family, getting to see everyone that you see every year at those conventions, and talk about your similar interests.
Okay, so there are some people like you only see them when you go to conventions?
Definitely. I would have to say I put my friend group into two people, friends and con family.
Okay. What sort of conventions do they have here locally?
They have CoastCon, which is occurring soon. There is Geeknomicon, which occurs in December. There's also different kind of conventions that don't necessarily occur every year, like Southeast Regional Event for Mind's Eye Society. There's also the local convention that's popping up.
Yes. Do you wear a lot of different costumes for these conventions?
Occasionally I do, and it's usually at the conventions that I get the chance to really dress up and go all out. So we have different games that we play, and we might dress up according to those. We played a Vampire the Masquerade LARP and dressed up. That was the last time that I really costumed. And it could be anything, but there are people who spend all year long getting ready for conventions to put, their costumes on. And there's always usually a costume contest as well.
Okay, and some of these costumes are really fantastic?
Yes, people work on them with all of their might, and I have seen some very impressive costumes. There was Power Ranger ones, Doctor Who is a big one, Batman, DC, Marvel. There's literally everything that you can think of. So there's lots of opportunities.
Have you ever been in charge of anything at a convention?
I usually don't actually get involved with the running side of things unless a friend asks me to. I like to really experience the con, but there are people who take out all of this time and effort from their daily lives to make these conventions happen, and they really are saints, all of them. So.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. This is Alan, not the real Stan Lee, signing off from Jack's. Excelsior!